Here's an important COVID-19 school system update for your local area. If you're concerned about your child's education, please pay close attention to this message. The current school systems were not set up for at-home learning. If you're worried that your child may not be getting the grades they need to get ahead, may be losing self-confidence, or you're worried about them getting into a good college because of their grades, help is available to you. Call Grade Potential Tutoring. They can help with in-home or online tutoring and help your child with any subject and every grade level, even for test prep. They're experts in the home tutoring and online tutoring field and confident they can help you and your child get better grades today. Call now for your free consultation. 800-693-8290. 800-693-8290. 800-693-8290. That's 800-693-8290.
Live from San Francisco on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network, you are listening to Wrestling Observer Live with your hosts, Brian Alvarez and Mike Sempervive.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Let's get it on!
How's it going, everybody? Brian Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sunday, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. It is Monday here on the program, and I should change it to you don't know what that means, because you never do. On the program today, we've got news, because, of course, Raw is tonight. We'll tell you about the preview of that. We can talk about the shows this weekend. We have a new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion that was crowned last night. Want to get your thoughts on the Bret Hart documentary and a lot more. It's going to be a packed show here today. Because in addition to the news, no, Mike Sempervive is not here today. Everybody was expecting him to be back, but he's not. But I have been alerted that Mike Sempervive has representation in the form of a man who says that he's a former WWE Hall of Famer, Sidney Bacabella. He's going to be appearing on the show in the second segment. He's got a lot of stuff going on himself personally, but also, I'm told he is representing Mike Sempervive. So we're going to find out what that means in the second segment of the show here today. Probably take your phone calls, emails, text messages in the final segment. And as noted, we have got a lot of news. So it should be a very interesting show here today. I do not have any idea what Sidney Bacabella is going to say, but I've been alerted that he's coming on to try to solve this ongoing problem regarding the suspension of Mike Sempervive for swearing, as well as denigrating Fish Talk Radio. That's coming up later on today. If you want to text us, 425-780-7566 is the phone number. That is 425-780-7566. Brian at WrestlingObserver.com is the email. At Brian Alvarez on Twitter. And much, much more. Also, by the way, if you watched the that Mayweather fight last night, what'd you think? I heard he did well. I know that's hard to believe. Plenty to talk about today. Back in a moment. Observer Live.
If your loved one has passed away due to COVID-19, pay close attention to this message. You could be entitled to a death benefit of over $300,000. The U.S. government has set up a fund to pay families relief if they've lost a loved one due to COVID-19. We know this is a hard time for you, and this fund has been set up by the federal government to help ease your pain. The compensation includes a death benefit and lost wages benefit. Time is limited, so we urge you to make a free phone call right now. There's no cost to you for this claim. All legal fees are only covered once you receive your money. So if you've lost a loved one due to COVID-19, call the legal helpline right now to find out if you qualify for a cash award. Here's our number, 800-918-4086. 800-918-4086. 800-918-4086. That's 800-918-4086. Paid for by the IPG Law Group. Airlines have just reduced their prices even more. Book 30 days in advance and save big.
Want the absolute lowest prices on your airline tickets? Then call the Low Cost Airlines Travel Hotline right now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. The only way to access our low rates and save up to 70% is to call. Save hundreds on your vacation tickets by calling right now.
You can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. That's 800-754-4531.
Ron Barr here. Now that people are getting out and exercising more, I want to recommend Relief Factor to you. Relief Factor helps those exercise-related pains and general muscle aches and pains. Now, if you're going to be working in the garden, you're going to be using your hands a lot. And if your hands hurt, listen to what Julia Brown had to say about using Relief Factor.
I had pain in my hands that kept me from work and doing projects around the home. I heard about Relief Factor on the radio and began taking it, and it left me with pain-free hands again. I was able to do the things around the house that I enjoy doing. I'm so glad I found Relief Factor.
100 million Americans suffer from ongoing pain due to aging, exercise, overexertion, and the effects of everyday living. Be sure to check out Relief Factor at relieffactor.com or give them a call at 800-500-8384. That's 800-500-8384.
Oh, bask in his glory.
For he is limitless.
You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live with Brian Alvarez and Mike Sempervive on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
For he is limitless.
Back in the show, Brian Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. No Mike Sempervive again. But I've been told in the next segment, his representation. Former WWE Hall of Famer Sidney Bakabella is going to be on the show to discuss all of this. So that's coming up here in a little while. Also, by the way, coming up later on today, Filthy Ford Ailey with Filthy Tom Lawler. Tom is in quarantine right now, so do not expect our usual excellent production values for him. But he's going to be on the show tonight, and the start time will be 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. And if you sign up for our new video tier at $9.99, you will be able to watch that show live. And you never know what's going to happen on a Filthy Tom show going live. Also, tomorrow's Brian and Vinny show, midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific, live with Granny. All of these shows that you normally watch at video.f4wonline.com, $9.99 tier, you can now watch them live. If you're signed up at $7.99, nothing changes. Although you can go into your account and push one button and switch to the $9.99 tier. They prorate you, by the way, so I think I paid 8 cents to switch yesterday. But $9.99 gets you everything you got at $7.99, plus the ability to watch the shows live, which we are going to build up into quite the deal. We can do a lot of things live, including taking your questions in the chat, so that'll be a lot of fun. Kind of a scoop to open up the show here today, kind of, because regardless of what the former Aleister Black might have said, plans do change in WWE all the time. And it's not a cop-out, because all you do is you watch what they advertise and then watch what they deliver, and you will see how often plans change. A lot. So this is a situation where plans could change. At this moment right now, the plan is to do a WWE draft on the August 30th show and the September 3rd show, which would be Raw and SmackDown, end of August, first week of September. That is the plan right now. Plans obviously can change, but that is what they are looking to do. Obviously, they would run SummerSlam. SummerSlam is going to be like a WrestleMania-style show. It's going to be in a stadium. They're going to have, likely, John Cena versus Roman Reigns. They may have some other big matches as well. They want to pack the place. They wanted to make it a WrestleMania-style show. And then when it's over, Run that draft, put people here, put people there, and away you go. The draft is ideally, to me, the draft takes place on the Raw and SmackDown maybe a week or two after WrestleMania. You build everything to WrestleMania, and then you do your draft, and then you start over again. Well, I don't know if that's ever going to happen because now you've got this WrestleMania Backlash show that they've been advertising. And if you're doing a WrestleMania Backlash show, what's the point of doing a draft and then going back to feuds that you did at WrestleMania? If they want to do it after SummerSlam every year, fine, whatever. It doesn't bother me. It bothers me a little bit in the sense that they have been doing the draft in the fall and putting people on separate brands and saying that they will never intermingle again, and then they immediately do Survivor Series where all they do is intermingle. What's the point of doing the draft then? But that's what they do, and I'm sure they'll probably do it again this year. But at least this year, we'll have like 2 months of separate brands before we just put everybody together again. But that is the plan as of right now, is August 30th and September 3rd. And as noted, plans can change. They could do it earlier, they could do it later, they could not do it at all. But that is the working plan right now. Also, and it's not even a spoiler, but I know that some of you probably haven't watched it yet. So if you don't know who the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion is, just turn off the show. But it happened like 12 hours ago, so it's clearly news now. The new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion is, in fact, Shingo Takagi. Beat Okada to win the title in the main event of the show. 36-minute match. I have not seen the match yet. I presume the match was fantastic, but that is an assumption based on the fact that it's Shingo and Okada in a 36-minute match in the main event. What'd you guys think of the show? Match was awesome, this person said. Anyway, I'll wait for your feedback. I'd be surprised if it wasn't, but, weird things can happen. But Shingo is the champion, and afterwards he challenged the former champion, Kota Ibushi, who, as Okada noted in an interview, Okada did an interview the other day. I've talked about it on a few shows. He buried the idea of the dual title because he was like, what was the point? Which, by the way, the Okada interview was everything I ever said about that title and the new IWGP World Heavyweight title. I feel like he must be a subscriber, this Okada. Just spouting off all of my talking points. He said the double title was stupid. There was no point to it. Nobody knew what it was about. Was it a double title? Was it 2 titles? What was the point? Why weren't they defended separate? He didn't understand any of this. He actually said that the double title gimmick was the second dumbest thing that New Japan had ever done, or the second biggest misstep or whatever. He didn't say what the first one was. I think from listening to his interview, he may think that the biggest misstep they ever did was getting rid of the double titles, creating a new single title, and then throwing away the entire legacy of that title by starting over with Ibushi being the first ever champion. He buried that. But anyway, he did this big, long 17-minute interview where he just talked about all of these things that he thought were stupid. And he noted a great legacy for this first title. They erased the legacy of the old title. The first champion lost it in his first defense. The second champion, who ended up being Ospreay, vacated the title. And now we are on the third champion, which is Shingo. And then Shingo has now challenged the first champion, who is Ibushi. We don't have a date for that, but that's the direction that they are going there. So that's what happened. I'll watch the match tonight before Wrestling Observer Radio. As noted, I have not seen that, and I also have not seen the Bret Hart A&E documentary, which a lot of people have asked me to watch. So looking for your feedback on those 2 shows, matches, etc., and we can read some of those later on. Tonight, obviously, is Raw, and what we know so far. Here I am, I'm talking about Bret Hart on A&E, Filthy Tom live at video.f4wonline.com. The main event for the new IWGP Heavyweight title, all of this stuff. This leads us to a Raw preview where we have Shayna Baszler on Alexa's playground. We have got Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre in a contract signing. And at least we have a new match, which is a battle royal to determine the next challengers for AJ and Omos. We have got RK Bro, The New Day, Mace and T-Bar, Lucha House Party, and the Viking Raiders. So that's what we know for Raw tonight. And I presume we'll have follow-up on Jackson Riker walking out on Elias last week on the show. Actually, the other way around. Elias walked out on Jackson Riker. I forgot Jackson Riker is going babyface to feud with Elias. I presume we'll have a follow-up to that as well. So if you're not into the lineup for this show, you can watch Filthy Four Daily live tonight. Video.f4wonline.com. It's stickied up there on the top of my Twitter, by the way, if you want to check that out. And, of course, we have got the ratings. I talked about these briefly yesterday with Josh Nason. SmackDown, 1.792 million in the overnights, which will probably come out to about 1.9 million. NXT, we only know it did 668,000. AEW on Friday, we only know that indications are that it is up. I think Dave used the term substantially from last Friday. We'll know when we know. I'm trying to get numbers as soon as I can, but Showbuzz Daily is dead. It's over. It's gone. It's never coming back. So there are a couple of other places that publicly put ratings out, but they're slower than molasses. I mean, it's going to be weeks to get cable ratings through that. I'm trying to get them directly from AEW and WWE. I don't know if we'll be able to do it, but we'll give you the numbers, everybody, as soon as we get them. So that's it. Back in a moment with more Wrestling Observer Live.
Learn how thousands of smart homeowners are investing about $1 to avoid expensive home repair bills. John, a former non-customer, said, "My air conditioner broke and I had to spend $1,900 to fix it." Jeff, a customer, wrote, "My air conditioner broke and I got a new one at no out-of-pocket cost." Mary, a former non-customer, wrote, "My heating system stopped running. I had to spend $3,000 to get a new one." Lisa, a customer, wrote, "My heater stopped working. I got it fixed at no out-of-pocket cost." For about $1 a day, you can have all the major appliances and systems in your home guaranteed fixed or replaced with HSC's home warranty coverage. Call now, and the first month is free. If the lines are busy, please call back.
800-410-4771. 800-410-4771. 800-410-4771. That's 800-410-4771.
I'm going to tell you how you can get real healthcare for as little as $6 a day. Yes, now you can get affordable healthcare for you and your family immediately and save as much as 50% off your current monthly healthcare payments. Our plans are perfect for people that are self-employed, can't afford health benefits where they work, or just want to pay less for their current healthcare. And coverage is guaranteed regardless of your medical condition. We even offer some of the new Christian faith-based health benefits. Save up to 50% on your family's health care. Make a free quick call now. There are no contracts, and we give you a 10-day money-back trial period. Call Provision Enrollment right now for your risk-free, guaranteed health insurance quote starting at $6 a day.
800-472-5145. 800-472-5145. That's 800-472-5145.
Do you own an annuity, either fixed rate, indexed, or variable? Are you paying high fees and getting low returns? If so, Annuity General would like you to have this free book to learn the pitfalls and mistakes of buying an annuity. The Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers contains the little-known truths about annuities, like how to help reduce your fees and increase retirement income. And it's free. That's right, free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report just for calling. We researched over 1,000 annuities and summarized rates and benefits from financially strong insurers. You get Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and the Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling Annuity General today. Hurry, supplies are limited. Call now.
800-760-1845. 800-760-1845. 800-760-1845. That's 800-760-1845.
You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live with Brian Alvarez and Mike Sempervive on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Well, the intro says Brian Alvarez and Mike Sempervive, but in fact, Mike Sempervive is not here. But I was alerted earlier today that Mike Sempervive has representation in the form of, and I quote, former WWF Hall of Famer Sidney Bacabella, who is joining us here on the program today, live via Skype video. Sidney, what is going on today?
Well, a lot of things are going on today, but Sempervive paid me a bunch of money to essentially look into this because I think the guy's being shanghaied. You've got him suspended. You've got
Whoa. Wait. I did not get him suspended. I have nothing to do with this. Mike Sempervive was warned repeatedly about saying a certain word on the air, and he kept saying it, which caused producer Dom to have to edit the show before we could send it to the mightier 1090. And so after that and denigrating Fish Talk Radio, I am told that the powers that be, high up in Sports Byline, had him suspended, not me.
Don. Who's Don ever beat? Is Don a former WWF Hall of Famer? No, he doesn't make the calls. He's the editor. He's the guy in the truck. He's the Don. He's the big tooth Don, okay? Now, Sempervive didn't do anything. He says words, English words that we could say anywhere we want to say. I mean, I got my law degree at the Denton County Community College, so I know a thing or two about what's right and wrong, and what's being done to Mr. Sempervive is wrong, and we're going to get that fixed today.
You know, I should mention, by the way, that Dom, he wasn't even born when the WWF had the logo that is on your hat right now.
So he's some young kid, no hair under the armpits yet. Oh, yeah, that's why. That's the problem with this generation. They think they can get one over on the old timers, and they can't. And we're going to put a stop to it right now. Fire Dom. Guy, M&N at the end of his name. Can't even figure it out anymore.
Now, let me ask you a question here, Sidney. You are billed here, I am told, as a former WWF Hall of Famer. Mike is a former co-host of Wrestling Observer Live. What was your story? What happened? Why are you a former WWF Hall of Famer?
Well, Senior put me in. Junior kicks me out. I can't really talk about it. All I can say is it involves you never get involved with a promoter's wife, okay? That's all I can say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, was there? I mean, have you petitioned? Who is your representation petitioning to get you back into the WWF Hall of Fame?
I don't need to be in there, okay? I don't need to be in there with guys like Special Delivery Jones and, all those guys that are in the Hall of Fame. I don't need that. All right, my name carries a lot of weight now. I can go to any territory. Al Tomko's blowing up my phone right now.
I had alerted the world that you were coming on the show today to try to talk to us about what's going on with Sempervive, and this fella here, a friend of mine actually, Paul Crockett, he says, "What kind of underhanded scam are you trying to pull today, Sidney? And Brian, what are you thinking?" He doesn't trust you, it sounds like to me.
Paul Crockett is nothing but a trash human being. I do commentary with Paul Crockett at Beyond Wrestling, which you could actually check out on July the 1st on IWTV.live. But they make me sit next to that idiot and carry him through 3 hours of entertaining commentary. Before they hired me, Paul Crockett was Ambien for nerds that watched wrestling.
Paul Crockett is, I believe, did commentary for the match where I wrestled for Beyond and had my career ended by Nick Gage.
Yeah, I was there. I was at Foxwell at the casino show.
Yes.
Showboat, not the Showboat Casino that Vern runs. The other casino that Beyond ran. I was on. You don't remember me?
Well, I wasn't listening to the commentary. I was having my life ended.
You don't listen to the commentary.
I was in the ring.
You're gonna pay me more because I got to work harder now. See,
Bacabella, hold on a second. I got killed by Nick Gage, and you think I'm going to go back and watch the match again?
Yeah.
No.
You should. You should. Isn't that what all the young nerds do now? They go on. They watch
No. I'm old school, Sydney. I go in there. I make my money, and unfortunately, I have my career ended, and that's it. I'm done. That guy gave me a choke breaker. And stuffed pile drove me. I had a neck brace on for weeks. You want me to go back and watch the match?
Yes, so you could hear my commentary.
No. Well, listen.
Poor Paul Crockett. But he's not even he's a kayfabe Crockett. He's not even a real one. Wow. I'll say it. I'll put all the dirt out there. You want dirt, Alvarez? Crockett's last name is not Crockett, okay? I know. I have it on good authority. Paul Crockett's last name is Khan.
Oh, wow. Well, listen, on the topic of what can we do to get Sempervive back here? What are you working on?
So I've done a lot, actually, and I've been working with the powers behind the scenes. And, I bought him a thesaurus. I bought him the Encyclopedia Britannica. I've actually sent him to the Word Museum. He's been playing Boggle, been playing Scrabble. So he's good now. And then I talked to the guys over at Fish Talk Radio there, and I bet you didn't know this either, that the producer of that show is a former luchador. He did the truck driver gimmick called Emmanuel Transmission. So I talked to him, smoothed everything over. He's good. All right, we need to get him back on the show because, listen, people, the views are going down on this. You need him.
Did you say Emmanuel Transmission?
Yeah.
Are we sure that's not filthy Tom Lawler under that mask?
No. Tom Lawler's a good guy. Tom Lawler could choke me out, so I'm not going to say anything bad about Tom Lawler. He's a shoot tough guy, all right? He's a shooter.
Well, listen, what can you tell me on another topic here? Because I'm not getting a lot of info about what's going on with Sempervive right here. What can you tell me about the return of Beyond Wrestling? How did you deal with this pandemic, Sydney? What did you do?
I dealt with this pandemic like anybody should. I didn't leave the house. I don't want to leave the house anyways. I just wanted to sit at home, so it was fine with me. So, during this whole pandemic here, Beyond Wrestling's been working so hard to put out content on IWTV, and they did it. They were putting out content all the time. You should see the signature series that they put out. But on July 1st, it's going to be a huge, huge event in Worcester, Massachusetts, and Papa Bear's going to be there. So, it's worth the ticket price alone.
What can you tell us about the show? What do we got coming up?
I don't know. I'm not the booker.
Well, I mean, you're there.
He's the one booking everything.
Can you give us some names that will be on this or is this a secret?
Yukon Moose Cholak may or may not be there.
Moose Cholak?
Moose Morowski may or may not be there. And
what's with all the mooses?
So many others. So Dean Ho, more like Dean Who, am I right? He may be there or may not. I don't know. But there's going to be a lot of great talent that's going to be there. I'm sure Jody Threat's going to be there. I'm sure there's going to be maybe Ricky Shane Page. I don't know. There may be a whole bunch of people showing up.
What about Moose Morowski? Will he be there?
Moose Morowski may or may not be there. Mr. Pro from the Tomko territory may or may not be there. Hey, Max Smashmaster, he told me, he texted me. He said, "Oh, you got to put me over, kid. You got to put me over, brother. No, all right, he's not going to be there, okay? But you can follow him on Twitter.
Dude, I saw a video of him training his youngster. His youngster's got a pretty good moonsault and shoulder tackle. Did you see this video?
I did. And, one video he didn't show you was we went to a party and I taught the kid how to take wallets out of the women's purses and bring them over to me. That's something he doesn't put online. That should be put online about that kid because the kid's a worker.
You taught the kid to pickpocket?
Of course. Why would I do it? I would go to jail. The kid won't.
Well, I wasn't sure if you're talking about the kid or a Smash Master. You're teaching the kid to pickpocket.
Smash Master has like pork loin hands. He can't fit it into a women's purse.
That's true. I mean, he's got to take the whole purse.
Yeah, it's like a stack of bananas. So, that video was very impressive. And Max Smashmaster, great father. He's as good of a father as Fritz von Erich is, okay? Great dad. I love him. So, but going back to Semper Vivi here, we've got to get this guy back on the show. And I've done a lot of hard work. And I'm telling you, he's coming back, all right? I've smoothed everything over with the exception of Don. I don't know who that guy is, but I'll call him too. I don't hang up until I get my way.
All right, listen, we got 1 minute left, okay? When we come back, what odds are you giving me as to whether or not Mike Sempervive will be reinstated to this show?
Hold on, I gotta send a fax over to Fish Talk Radio, so I need about 45 to 48 minutes. Can you take a break that long?
I don't know if it's going to be that long. Throw out a number here. What do you think? 10%? 100%?
100% he'll be back.
Okay.
I'll never lie to you.
All right, let me ask you one last question before we go. You're telling me there's a 100% chance that when I come back from this break, Mike Sempervive will be reinstated. But what's the percentage that he's actually able to successfully connect to the show?
Probably 40%. He doesn't have good internet. All right, it's like AOL. He's still using dial-up.
All right. Sydney, we got to go. Get a plug out for Beyond. Where can we find out more information?
July 1st, IWTV.live. Make sure you check it out. Beyond Wrestling on Twitter at Beyond Wrestling. Buy my T-shirt, Sydney Bacabella at gmail.com and Twitter sBacabella.
Holy smokes. Excellent job of promotion here today, and I'm going to take your word for it. 100% he better be reinstated after this break, Sydney.
Oh, he will. I'm making a call right now.
All right. Well, thank you so much for doing the show today. Back in a minute, everybody. We'll find out. Wrestling Observer Live.
Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get up to a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate when you purchase select Superstart batteries. With the power and capacity your vehicle demands, Superstart batteries are designed for lasting performance and consistent starts. Turn the key with confidence with Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Have you written a book? You can become a published author with Dorrance Publishing, the nation's oldest publishing services company. Countless authors have trusted Dorrance for nearly 100 years to bring their book to the market. Our professional team will edit your text, design your book pages, and create an appealing, eye-catching custom cover. Plus, our authors benefit from a custom book promotion marketing campaign that makes your book available where people buy books, like Amazon and brick-and-mortar bookstores. So make this free call right now to claim your free author's guide to publishing. Don't wait another day. Take one step closer to realizing your dream of becoming a published author and seeing your name in print. You've already written a book, so the next thing to do is make this free call right now to Dorrance Publishing and get your free guide to publishing. Call right now.
800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. That's 800-485-6003. I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7460. 800-251-7460. 800-251-7460. That's 800-251-7460.
The double play.
It's baseball season, and you're ready to go all out. So you ordered the essentials to make game day a success, like a jersey, a power recliner, and a bigger screen. And you used your Bank of America customized Cash Rewards credit card, choosing to earn 3% cash back on online shopping. Rewards that you put toward an essential piece of the celebration, an air horn. Apply for yours at bankofamerica.com/more rewarding. Copyright 2021, Bank of America Corporation.
It's a new day. Yes, it is.
You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live with Brian Alvarez and Mike Sempervive on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Well, we're back here in the show. Brian Alvarez here. Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, I believe, is here. Mike, what's going on, bro? Where's your audio? What the hell's going on here? Mike! Well, let's see what we got going on here. Why can't I hear Mike? Bacabella, I should have made a bet that Mike would get back and be unable to connect. He gave it a 40% chance. Well, say something!
The audio!
Oh, hey! Look at that! Sorry. On me. Well, what's going on? What's going on, Sempy?
Where were you, by the way?
What do you mean,
Why did I have to get Sydney on? Why did I have to get Sydney to do the work that you should have been doing to get me unsuspended?
Well, I mean, the problem, I don't know if you watched that last segment, but clearly Bacabella ain't got much to do, and I do. So I did what I could, but what do you want me to do?
That man is a manager of champions. He is making money moves. He doesn't have time for the same nonsense you're doing, just rambling into a microphone. And by the way, I heard the listenership went down immensely. Sydney told me that in the meetings that he had with Darren and everybody over at Byline. And by the way, Dom had some things to say, I guess, online, and some things to say, I guess, when I was suspended, which really, I thought better of him, but I guess he's been around you too long. I guess that's what it is. Whatever it is, I'm back, and that's no thanks to you, Ryan.
Well, at the end of the day, Mike, what's important? You are back. And you know what you should be thankful for is you're back. So what that basically means is that you had basically a week's vacation. You got to go, and I don't know what you did, but I mean, you did whatever you did, and you're back, and you're still getting paid, so what's the problem?
Well, it wasn't exactly like a vacation because Sydney sent me on an excursion, and he told you about the fact that, yes, he got me a Scrabble game, he got me Boggle, and I've been working on that. Every time I see Itch, and I have a B right there, it's like, okay, what else could I say? Could it be Witch? Could it be, maybe I can make Switch? It's just, that's going to be a little bit difficult for me to keep working on, but he did send me to the Franklin Institute, the Franklin School, and the Word Museum, which I believe you have a picture of. I don't know if you have it now or not.
Yes, the Word Museum. I can't think of a more fun way to spend my suspension time than going to the Word Museum.
Well, exactly. So, it got me back here, didn't it? Again, at least he had some good ideas to try to get me back, whereas
it's ironic that you went to the Word Museum and he told me he was going to buy you a thesaurus. We'll see if that does any good. Both of those things together.
Funny part is he autographed it, too, as if it was like an autobiography, which was really kind of strange. But I don't know. Sydney's a strange guy, but at least he gets results and gets things done.
Okay, listen, you're back. So let's get back. Let's pretend like none of this ever happened. Did you watch the Shingo versus Okada match last night, and what did you think?
I thought it was really good. Shingo and Okada. I was a little bit surprised that Okada didn't get the victory, although I know you've talked about it at length. If you would have heard the interviews that he's been doing that are up on New Japan World, maybe he's not really into it right now. And I thought the reason they would pull the trigger maybe on him is because he is the bigger name. But they've taken a different turn. Ibushi was the champion. They quickly went with Ospreay as the champion. He had a great match with Shingo. I think Shingo's been a name people have wanted to see in the mix for a while. He can certainly live up to his end of the deal in the ring, so the matches are going to be there. But they're just in a tough state. I was going to say they need some spark right now. They need something big right now. But, I mean, how big can you be when your shows are getting canceled? we're still staring down the barrel of the Olympics, which ought to be very interesting. And maybe, depending on how that goes, maybe this will open some things up. I have no idea. The problem is nobody's vaccinated over there, and people just keep getting sick. So I don't know what they can do right now, but at least from an in-ring point of view, Shingo is going to put on great matches, can do it with Cobb, could do it with Naito, could do it with Evil, could do it with literally anybody on that roster. So, from that point of view, it's very good. But, as far as how things are looking long-term, even short-term right now for New Japan, it's all up in the air.
Spurnier says Shingo versus Okada was off the charts. I thought it was still second best match of their trilogy behind their all-time classic G1 Climax bout last year when Okada made Shingo pass out for the money clip and got the godforsaken hold over. I don't know if he got it over, but he got him with that money clip. Got a lot of people talking about the Bret Hart biography. The Bret Hart biography was produced very well. A&E, for the most part, has done an outstanding job with the documentaries. All of them, I have found out new and intimate stories. Last night brought me back to those old memories, and I became a Bret Hart fan all over again. This person, I thought the Bret Hart A&E biography was great. Covered the WrestleMania 13 match with Austin in great detail. In the Austin one, they didn't even mention it, other than showing 10 seconds of clips. It was the most important match of Austin's life. They also really did a nice job talking about how much pride Bret had as champion, how he took it seriously and was so believable as a top guy. They covered the peak of his career very well. The end of Bret's career will always be a great what-if to me. I wish he never had to sign with WCW. He was in his early 40s. If he's able to keep wrestling another 4 to 5 years, so many different top guys were there. He could have had even more classics in the ring. Well, that is unless Vince decided at that time, you're over 40. It's time to put this bro out to pasture. We'll see if he wants to be a whatever. Did you see this one?
I did not yet, although I heard this and the McFoley ones have been the best ones by far. No, I filled up my Sunday by watching Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul.
Oh, how was that?
It was the worst. When it comes to, like, the poor man's version of the Pride New Year's Eve shows and the K1 Dynamite New Year's Eve shows, I mean, this was it. Like, Inoki Bombayes, I look back on with, like, more reverence now, and far differently when they're putting things like this on. It was bad. And not because, like, you thought the quality was going to be any good. And it was Desus and Mero joined Moro for commentary for the Freak Show fights. For the actual boxing contests, they brought in Al Bernstein. And, like, with the Triller shows, you have Snoop there who's hammered. You have Oscar De La Hoya who's hammered. It's like a big part. Like, you're being dropped in to this big party. And I think Showtime missed the mark because I think they tried to present this as, like, a pseudo event. Like, they tried to take this a little bit maybe too seriously. And because of that, Moro had the vibe. Desus and Mero had the vibe. But realistically, the whole presentation was very sterile. It would be like, it was very NXT-like. It would be if you took a Game Changer show and took that from Atlantic City and then dropped it into the Capitol Wrestling Center. I mean, that's kind of what it felt like, where it's like you still get some wackiness, you still get this feel of, like, look at this freak show going on, but all of the heart and kind of like all of the aesthetic was out of it. Like, that was the biggest thing for me. Chad Johnson, did his best to put on a little bit of a show fighting this guy, Brian Maxwell. He was a former NFL player, Chad Johnson, Chad Ochocinco. He had a 4-round fight. He actually was landing some shots. The actual boxing fights themselves were subpar, unfortunately. So then you got to Logan and Floyd, and you got exactly what you would have thought out of Logan and Floyd. Floyd carried him for 10 rounds. Logan took some punches from Floyd. There was that, but, like, the whole reason you watch this freak show is, like, you're being into this party. And they didn't bring that out. And if Showtime is going to have the other Paul brother, which I guess they announced they're going to have Jake Paul fight as well, too, by the time they get to that one, they got to change the whole vibe and the whole aesthetic, because otherwise, why are you doing it? It was like the corporate sellout version of what all this ridiculousness is supposed to be.
This person says, I caught up on the Bret Hart A&E documentary just a few hours ago. He is just the best. Bret is Bret, and there is no other Bret. Vince, however, an all-time villain. He cannot escape it. Every time he talked, he was working an angle to cast himself in a better light. What a shocker. And this person here, the Bret Hart A&E documentary was excellent, maybe the best one, tied with HBK and Mick Foley. Bret, truly the first human WWF champion in the Vince Jr. era. Took me a few years after he won the title to see him as a real top guy, probably around 96, but his legend keeps growing. Some fans are only just realizing that he was underappreciated. Bret truly changed wrestling in so many ways. And changing Wrestling Observer Live will be a series of callers, Mike.
Oh, yeah?
Here we go. You're on the air. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Brian, I'm the one who called yesterday about the love ballads on NXT, and you automatically assumed I was going to bring up AEW, which had nothing to do with. In fact, I wish WWE would use licensed music because their music sucks. What my point was is, you kind of brought up the thing, what if Ric Flair in 86 was listening to 40s music? I don't think that's a fair comparison because music in the 40s was not written for the younger crowd. It was written for older people. Nobody was going to school asking their schoolyard chums what is their favorite Jimmy Durante song. But they were asking about Elvis in the 50s, Beatles in the 60s, and so on. I think music in the 80s is a lot bigger now in 2001 or 2021, than music in the 40s was in the 80s. I think it still works today, and I think, young people still enjoy 80s music and 90s music. It's kind of like how at WrestleMania years ago they used Big Time by Peter Gabriel.
Yeah, but that was horrible.
It was a great song. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but
Peter
for
Gabriel,
a WrestleMania, dude, everybody was making fun of Big Time for the WrestleMania theme.
Listen, in its time, yes, we had no bananas was a big hit in the 20s, but it just, and look, it's a great song. And it just, when you have a history of they use AC/DC, I mean, they've used, they haven't exclusively used older music, but they have tended to fall back to that because that's what the people in charge tend to like. It's just, again, I don't know. It's the thing with music, I think, is kind of being overdone right now. And I think there are some people overcorrecting towards licensed music. Again, you're not paying for this. They are. And I know these people are all rich and everything. I got that. But it's like, you're supposed to have a music division that's supposed to be doing some cool stuff. Not everything Jim Johnson did was great. A lot of it sucked, but the ones that hit, and they fit the characters. And I think he's right about that when he talks about the fact that some of this music doesn't necessarily fit the person and the character that, is using it. I think he's right about that. I think there needs to be more focus on that. Wild Thing works great because it's Jon Moxley and it's perfect. But just because you use licensed music doesn't mean it's going to really work for that person. And plus, is that all you want is the pop from the music? If that's and that unfortunately happens a lot of times as well, too. People think about that Road Warrior pop, but they continue getting the pop throughout the match. Same thing with the Rock and Roll Express. You don't want to spend a bunch of money, and essentially that's the best part of somebody's act.
Well, yeah, but my argument would be that if your act is such that the only thing that people pop for is your licensed music, well, at least they're popping for something.
I guess.
I would rather they pop for your music and didn't care about your match and then pop for the music afterwards than to just be bored the entire time. Here's the thing with music, everybody. It's subjective. That's it. Like, his claim was that a lot of kids today listen to music from the 80s. I go to the chat right here. This guy goes, I'm 25, and that's not true. That's a young guy who's not listening to music from the 80s. Obviously, if you are an older person, you're going to say, oh, the only good music was the music from the 60s and the 70s. Everything after the 80s sucked. Well, that's a subjective opinion. Many people might agree with that. You hear a lot of people going, oh, well, the music today sucks. Well, maybe a lot of music today does suck. But you know what? There's a lot of people that love today's music, and you can look at numbers on whatever your streaming service of choice is, and they're doing ridiculous numbers for some of these songs. Not everything, but it's all subjective. If you get a song and it gets a guy over, whether it's a Jim Johnson song or a CFO song or whatever, or an old song from the 50s, whatever works.
Except for Mega Ran. Never get
over. Oh, get out of here, Mike.
Ran
Back in a moment. Observer Live. You're going to spend it again.
You love your dog. Is something bothering him or her and you can't figure out what it is? Maybe they seem slow or lethargic, and maybe they just don't have energy. Wouldn't you like your dog to be living their very best life? PetJoy offers a money-back guarantee on all of its products. If your dog won't eat it or you don't see the results you want, just let us know and we'll make it right. Totally risk-free. What do you have to lose? You can't buy PetJoy multivitamins in a store. The only way you can get them is through this unique radio offer. And if you call right now, learn how to get 2 bottles free with your order. Turn your dog's life around and make him or her a happy camper. Ain't that right, boy? He said call PetJoy right now. 800-846-2153. 800-846-2153. 800-846-2153. That's 800-846-2153.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-215-6812. 800-215-6812. 800-215-6812. That's 800-215-6812.
Come on, you watch the news. Be prepared to pay more taxes. Then if you owe back taxes or haven't filed in a few years, get ready. The IRS, the largest collection agency in the world, will be coming after you with the power to collect taxes by any means they want to. Hey, they can freeze your bank account, your passport, even padlock your business. Oh, good times. Look, if the IRS claims you owe them $5,000 or more in back taxes and they're coming after you, don't panic. Call my friends at Get a Tax Lawyer first. Their job is to negotiate with the IRS and save you money. They're experts at it. That's all they do, and you can trust them. In some cases, they have reduced a $50,000 tax bill to less than $1,000. If you owe the IRS $5,000 or more in back taxes, call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-732-9635. 800-732-9635. 800-732-9635. That's 800-732-9635.
You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live with Brian Alvarez and Mike Sempervive on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Back in the show, Brian Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Lance makes a good point here. He texted me. Says, one of the big pluses to real music is when you hear that on the radio, you think of wrestling and that character. I always think of Dreamer when Man in the Box is on the radio. Yeah, we use my old theme every now and then for Observer Live, and I can't hear it without thinking it's my theme. And same way with a lot of other. Think about some of these WWE themes. It's like, what in the world? Like, what does this theme even remind you of? Or what is it? Like, could you go out and I don't know.
Has a wrestler ever ruined a song for you? Because it's not like I ever liked the song Footloose, but Avalanche Buzz Tyler back in the day in Mid-Atlantic used to come out to Footloose, and if you ever saw Avalanche Buzz Tyler, if you couldn't tell from his name, there was never a worse song matched up with a man, and every time I hear that song, I think of him, and boy, I didn't like him.
Wow, that's certainly not very nice. I had extremely high expectations for the Bret Hart A&E biography due to Dave's tweet. I can report it lived up to those expectations, incredibly well done. One thing that irritated me, though, was how they didn't 100% accurately cover the screw job. You don't say. It's almost ridiculous how Vince tries to make himself look good and justified over it. To its credit, the bio makes it clear that there were smarter ways to handle the situation. Thankfully, they had neither Cornette nor Russo involved there. Bro, they should have had Cornette. Yeah. Cornette could tell you everything you ever wanted to know about the screw job. He was right there. Russo didn't even know what a screw job was when they were discussing the screw job. But Cornette was right there in all of that stuff.
He came up with it because, again, we're going off the air now, but he actually was the one who dropped an idea from the past that led to it.
Yeah, we're out of time, everybody. Tonight, 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern, video.f4wonline.com. It's Filthy 4 Daily live with Filthy Tom Lawler. on the $9.99 tier. We'll see you guys then. The rest of you will see tomorrow. Thanks, Mike, as always. Callers and listeners over to the studio. We'll talk to you next time, Wrestling Observer Live.